and to prevent a panicky run on banks, brokerage firms, and mutual funds. Worries about the financial strength of a major trader could cascade and cause other players to stop making payments to one another, in which case the system would seize up like an engine without oil. The Plunge Protection Team. What is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Starting this video off talking about the Plunge Protection Team, risks of commercial lending, the Federal Reserve, and the hedge funds in the current economic situation are this. Some predict a black swan event in 2023 that will change the global order and end the US dollar's dominance. It advises investors to be prepared and not to rely on the average market returns. Commercial lending has already tightened to recession and even depression levels, right? When there are trillions of commercial real estate that is due to mature within the next 60 months. Federal Reserve has lost billions of dollars. The data shows we are near the end of this collapsing system because of the rapid de-dollarization of the East through BRICS. Some experts' opinion is there will be a 2023 black swan event that is unprecedented in history. As the world moves from the US dollar to a distribution of power with more than one global reserve currency, as an AMC holder, time is on our side. Now, speaking of the risks of commercial lending, the Federal Reserve, and hedge funds in particular, another hedge fund just got closed down. Ex-Paulson Partners shuts hedge fund Berry Street on rising rates, citing a challenging regulatory environment, which we have seen the SEC kind of start cracking down. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we are seeing more and more transparency rules getting pushed through. Now, real quick, before we touch on some Ortex numbers, I'm not sure if you can see, but we got Gracie in the video with us. Yeah, there she is. We got Gracie in the video today with us. She wanted to sit with me, so hit the like button since you got to see her. Short interest is at 7.55%, utilization at 43% on AMC, and the cost of our average is at 2.24% and the max at 6%. Now, you know what we've been tracking. We got another hammer candle right here, testing that resistance level right around $9.30, trading at $9.32, up 2.64% on the day. Made a nice base at that $9 level, got a decrease in volume, and we are just waiting for that nasty break higher. And keep in mind, the SPY has been bleeding and AMC has been holding up at this level, so I think it's looking really well. But you know what I've been tracking correlated over to the January 2021 run-up, and I found someone else with the same exact theory but written out a lot better. So take a look at this. The algos AMC now versus pre-2021. You can see it's not exactly repeating, but it's rhyming very, very similarly, just to a larger degree, which means that the rip can be to a larger degree as well, which also shows us that we may be in phase 6 of this algo move, meaning late November coming into December, we may see that rip on AMC. And you know that I have this point of interest from October 24th all the way to November 16th is where my point of interest lines up on AMC. It may be a little bit later, but we will see what happens there. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you loading up on shares? Are you loading up on calls? Or are you just watching this? Well. Ursa Fund Management, who holds massive AMC put positions, have lied on their SEC report filed earlier this year. They said earlier this year they had assets of under 100 million or under 90 million at the time of the last annual filing, yet Fintel reports over 412 million under control. They look really young to be controlling this much assets, 2 to 10 employees at a hole in the wall office. This is also the fund that filed the letter to the court in opposition of the conversion/reverse split. Very interesting DD done by Crystal Ball and Dave Murphy on Twitter. Moving on, another conspiracy. Defense World today says that 28.79% of the stock is currently owned by institutional investors, while Fintel shows 76.57% is currently owned by institutional investors. So you have a data discrepancy over here as well as over here, both with an over report from Fintel. So is Fintel the one who's accurate? In my opinion, yes, because you're looking at a self-report versus Fintel as a whole, which means if institutions own 76% and retail owns 92%, then the float is sold over. Now, AMC, 4.4 million shares available to borrow, 10,000 calls expiring in the money so far, compared to only 8,000 puts expiring in the money. So we are slightly winning on the options chain with that hammer candle between that $9 and $9.30 level. The options chain is about evened out, but more people are betting bullish on this week. Short exempts still pretty high for the amount of volume we're getting. And finally, more fundamental good news for AMC. Swift best scores is at the box office, but Killers of the Flower Moon opened strongly. I saw the trailer for this, and honestly, it looks pretty solid. So at this point, we're just waiting for AMC to hit a new personal record with numbers. Touching on GameStop, $13.53, up 0.63% on the day. I still think GameStop is going to sell off even further. Just be aware of that. Watch 10.10 and then 3.75 for a very market bottom. 1.1 million shares available to borrow. Call to put ratio still losing on the options chain. However, more people are betting bullish. I think all of these are going to get deteriorated. Be very, very careful playing calls in this type of environment, especially with GameStop. Now, before we move on to the S&P 500 and what's happening with crypto and some additional stuff to close out the video, if you guys want to know my trades as soon as I take them, join the Discord. I'm in there on the daily. We talk stocks all day long. It's only $1.99 a month, so that's a coffee a month. Just sacrifice that. You won't even notice it come out. Plus, the benefits will greatly outweigh that. We post gains, post losses, talk stocks all day long, and overall, it's just the best vibes. Plus, there's options trading alerts in there, so you really can't beat it. Also, guys, if you want up to 16 free stocks, each valued up to $2 grand per stock, use my link, sign up for Moomoo, and make it a positive any amount to start earning benefits from there. All the way up to a $400 cash reward as well. It's free. It takes 2 minutes out of your day. Once you sign up and make it a positive, even a penny, you will start reaping those benefits. Plus, you get access to level 2 order book data for free, trading options, going long, going short, viewing other exchanges, and a customizable earnings calendar, and your money's FDIC insured. Both of those links are in the top of the description and pinned in the top of comments. S&P 500 at 424, up 0.67% on the day. It looks bearish, especially with the VIX rising. However, I said it will break slightly lower. Just like the recent September-October cycles, it comes up, breaks that relative low slightly before getting a rip. I think the SPY has a good chance that it just bottomed out. And I'm going to tell you right now, I just added more and more to my long-term portfolio. I'm going to put that out right now. Watch for a rejection on 424.85. If the SPY breaks 431.60, I am calling this thing off. I think we are getting into a bull run in that case scenario. Plus, the SPY looks even more bullish because of Bitcoin. 31,200 already. Bitcoin just continues to rip, and I think this correlates over to the SPY, correlates over to the equities market in general. You see crypto running, expect the SPY to start moving as well. This shows that big money is not afraid to start putting their money back to where it needs to be. I also added to more Bitcoin. Close out the video. Big banks are quietly cutting thousands of employees and more layoffs are coming. Finally, guys, I wanted to add this in the video because it's kind of what's happening with the overall market and them kind of giving the narrative to investors that you have to be fearful because there is a black swan event coming. Let's talk about Ackman and bonds. Ackman announces he covered. Means that he closed his short position on US Treasury bonds, which had opened in August 2023. He made this decision because he thought that the risks of staying short on bonds were too high given the slowing economy and the global uncertainties. He also implied that he made a profit from his bet as bond yields had risen significantly since he initiated his position. Now, a possible scenario where big money investors manipulate the bond market by influencing retail investors, which is what I'm talking about right now, the points can be interpreted as followings. Big money investors such as Ackman bet against bonds by selling them short, expecting bond prices to fall and bond yields to rise. Big money investors then tell retail investors to buy bonds either directly or indirectly by spreading positive news or opinions about bonds. This creates a demand for bonds and pushes bond prices up temporarily. Big money investors cover their short positions by buying back the bonds they sold earlier at a lower price than they sold them. This allows them to pocket the difference and make a profit. Number 4 and 5, retail investors are the ones who provide liquidity for big money investors to cover their short bets. They are also the ones who drive up bond prices artificially by buying them, and retail investors should be aware that there can be a sudden drop in bond prices after big money investors exit their positions. This can result in losses for retail investors who bought bonds at higher prices. So none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but don't make the same mistake with the overall market. When they're telling you a black swan event is coming, they are buying in the market right before another market cycle comes so they can dump on retail investors. Once again, all in my opinion, not financial advice. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Make sure to check the links, have post notifications on. I love you all. Lottery stocks out.